Extreme Motorsports brings you the Ricmotech Sportscar Series, brought to you by Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment, and in part by TD's Tree Service. Live coverage coming your way right now.
Good morning, everybody. Good evening, wherever you are in the world. We're live here on Apex Racing TV with the ExtremeMotorsports.com Ricmotech Sportscar Series presented by TD's Tree Service. Hello, everybody. Andrew Woodhouse alongside Adam Bath and Alex Marshall for this one. And Adam, we're at the Circuit de la Sarthe for the second time this week. It's a 90-minute race. We've got the Mustangs. We've got the MX-5s. Could see some very, very good racing here tonight.
Oh yeah, good morning, Woody, and good morning, everybody. Le Mans Circuit de la Sarthe, 90-minute race. We're already 2/3 of the way through the season now, and this could be a pivotal race meeting in terms of the Mazda MX-5 and the Ford Mustang Championships. It's going to be a good evening and a good morning's racing, I think.
Championships in the GS class and also the ST class beginning to take shape. In several different winners already this season. It's been a fantastic championship, both in the quality, I must say, of the driving mostly, and the organisational aspects as well.
It's been brilliant to watch. We had a good race meeting last week at Barber Motorsports Park, where we had a GS Open overall race winner in Brandon Whitworth, and that's helped consolidate his lead in the GS Open standings. And I wonder if anyone might be able to knock him off his perch in this race. Pasquale Iannucci looks like he wants to. He's currently sitting atop the qualifying tree, and will you believe we've got a track guide coming up as well?
Yes, it's Iannucci's on pole in both categories at the moment, and we have now a track guide to take you through for the Circuit de la Sarthe to see exactly what the drivers are going to be up against here tonight.
Welcome, viewers, to La Sarthe, France. Yes, we are here at the home of the 24 Hours of Le Mans at the Circuit of Le Mans. Great to have you with us today as we're going to give you a tour around this 8.5-mile road course that's a combination of permanent race course and public roads. This track really has it all for the road course driver. The high-speed straightaways, the tight radiuses, the undulation. It really has it all for a road racing driver at heart. This track dates back all the way to 1923, and to me, one of the most exciting stories of this track was how they started these races back then. The drivers would not start in their vehicles. If you look straight ahead up on the straightaway here in front of the bleachers, the drivers would line up in a line next to each other, and when the green flag dropped, they would race to their vehicle, jump down into that cockpit, fire up that motor, and pull out onto the track, and that's how they just started the races back then. We won't be doing that quite as intense today, so we're going to go ahead and begin this track guide for you as we head down the front straightaway. Drivers will come out of that last chicane and want to get a nice good run across the starting line here and heading up into what's known as Dunlop Curve. This will be a wide entrance coming into this corner. It's important to get that late apex so that you can set up for that first chicane up here to the left. Down through the gears into second. Very tight chicane here. Not really room for cars to go too wide there. Coming up over the crest here, we will head down to what's known as the S's. Again, want to set that car off to the right to get that nice smooth entry down into the apex, get back to throttle. This section is wide open through here in the Ford Mustang. Up over the crest, very technical corner here to come out onto the first long straightaway of Mulsanne Straight. Intricate footwork, you want to get that nose to plant just right back there. Very important to get that high speed to come out onto this first long straightaway. It's really the first time the drivers have an opportunity to use the slipstream and to try to pass other drivers. As you can see, the homes left and right, you'll see buildings and restaurants and things as we're out on this public road running at approximately 150 miles an hour now as we approach the first chicane on the Mulsanne Straight. Down through the gears. Want to get that car to rotate right, swing back left, get back to throttle, come right back out to the outside on the track out. Again, speed is so critical through those corners. If you don't get that fast exit, it's going to hurt you all the way down this long straightaway. Such a beautiful track, the scenery, everything around it is just beautiful. The high speeds here are so intense for fans as they're standing on the sides of these fences watching these cars come roaring by. Downshifting down into the second chicane here on Mulsanne Straight. This one takes us left, then right, and back left, just the opposite of the first chicane that we came through, back up on the straightaway there. Coming around Mulsanne Kink, down to one of the highest speed areas of the track, down to Mulsanne Corner. You can just imagine the fans waiting for these cars during the 24 hours of Le Mans, pitch black at night, waiting for the downshifting roar of those motors. It's like a lion stalking his prey as drivers come into this high speed entry, down on the brakes, down through the downshifts, back out off that corner. You can just see fans smelling that race fuel, smell those tires coming out off that Mulsanne corner, the engine roaring up. Down the next section of long straightaway here will take us to what's known as Indianapolis. You'll see some variations and different camber changes in the course. Another fast entry down into this sweeper to the right, down through the gears, light on the brakes, heavy on throttle, back heavy on the brakes. Get the car to rotate down into apex, back to throttle, up out of that bowl turn to the left. And this takes us down to Arnage, a very tight late apex right. Important to get that apex just right. You've got a nice strong wall there on the left. Love to chew a hole in the side of that car. Now approaching the final long straight here at Le Mans. This will take us into the section known as Porsche Curve. Porsche curves are very interesting here. You'll see a late apex as we come in at a pretty high speed, a little bit of trail braking, come off the brake just ever so lightly, get back to throttle. You approach a double left. Make sure we keep that vehicle off the wall. Tap the brake, get the nose to set. Come back right again, resetting the nose. Make sure we get that right-handed entry into this left-hander here to come out onto the next short chute straightaway that has a slight S-curve in it. We'll be approaching the entrance to pit lane as we head back to the front grandstand area on the permanent part of the road course. First chicane here is kind of fast. Plug that inside, come back right, set up the left for the final tight chicane, and get a nice wide exit off that final corner to race back to the start-finish line. What a beautiful course. Great to have you with us here today to view this 8.5 mile well-known course known as Le Mans.
Very much for that fantastic track guide there, showing us how to try to conquer the Circuit de la Sarthe. And Adam, it's one that you can never truly master because it is a tricky one, and it's one that always has some little surprises for you.
It's very difficult to get a perfect lap around here. I have to say that because it is such a long track, just under 8.5 miles, 38 corners. You've got the chicanes as well. They're difficult to master as well, both on entry and on exit. And then you've got Indianapolis and Arnage. Indianapolis, we saw loads of MX-5s go off there in the BSR Mazda MX-5 Cup that we covered a few weeks ago at this circuit. And then you've got the Porsche curves, very fast and sweeping, and the walls the walls invite you off almost, and we saw a few big crashes there as well in the other MX-5 series we've done as well. So you've definitely got to be fully concentrating for the 90-minute race that we've got, and we could, I think in the 90-minute races that we've had this season, 2 pit stops as well for some of these cars.
Yeah, it could be possible to visit the pits a couple of times. The focus shifts now, though, doesn't it, from qualifying? Because qualifying, what it's about on this circuit is absolutely nailing the exits of the chicanes and of the slow corners because the straights are so long. However, it kind of changes, doesn't it? Because even though the exits are important, with the sheer amount of slipstreaming, especially that we're going to see from the MX-5s tonight, almost doesn't matter a great deal what sort of exit you get, because if you're following, you're going to be able to close in well. And if you're in front, you're a sitting duck anyway, so it almost doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's different mentality really from qualifying to the race. You're just trying to maximise as much speed as you can during the qualifying session, but during the race you just want to make sure that you've got enough speed so you can latch onto the car in front. You only have to be about half a second or so behind, and you can get a decent tow down the immensely long Mulsanne Straight. I've got a bit of paperwork somewhere that says how long the Mulsanne Straight is, but without the chicanes we'll be going on for quite some time. We're going to see a lot of slipstreaming in both classes, I reckon, today, and it could be a great equaliser for these drivers in the field, because you might see drivers that aren't too high up in the championship order getting a good result because they're able to latch on to the quicker guys in front of them.
6 kilometres is how long the Mulsanne Straight was, because as well, some people may not know this, but of course, if you're new to the Circuit de la Sarthe, this circuit used to run where they now have 2 chicanes dividing that section up. It used to be just a flat-out blast all the way from Tertre Rouge to what is Mulsanne Corner.
6 kilometres, I should tell you, in old money for American
Sorry,
viewers.
yes, it's about 4 miles, isn't it? Sorry,
3.7 miles, yes.
Yeah.
And I can tell you the conditions today at the Circuit de la Sarthe: 65 degrees Fahrenheit ambient temperature and a 68 degrees track temperature with a wind speed of 24 miles per hour.
We were talking about this off air, incidentally, viewers. That we all seem to generally prefer miles an hour as well. So all this sort of the fact that everything seems to be in kilometres now these days does not help us very much. England's weird; it's sort of a mixture of imperial and metric. So, though we may confuse some Americans with it, no doubt we get confused as well with things like gallons, Adam, which we don't have to deal with on a regular basis.
GCSE food tech, I should say, with cups used to confuse me as well compared to litres and millilitres. That's another matter for another day. Let's run you through the championship standings.
And how many people actually of our American audience know what GCSE food tech is also up for debate. So.
Oh yeah.
There we go.
Well, running through the championship standings. GS Pro will start off there. Clint Vigus leads the way in that championship. Mike Dam second, came close to taking a victory last time out at. In fact, Vigus and Dam both did at Barber Motorsport last week. Pasquale Iannucci, I should say, is in third. Tyler Shiflett fourth. Stephen Thomas fifth. Jeff Jacobs sixth. Russell Ruddock is in seventh. Travis Davis eighth. Kevin Ford in ninth. And Matthew Catila rounding out the top 10 there. Into the open standings, Brandon Whitworth took victory last time out at Barber Motorsports Park. He leads the way there quite comfortably over Chad Osborne in second. Third is Robert Brist. Fourth is Raymond Bader Jr. Fifth, Ryan Tibbetts. Sixth, Mike Burgett. Seventh, Tori Tesla. Eighth, Scott Brooks. Ninth, Jennifer McDonald. And 10th, Logan Mitchell. Over to the Mazda MX-5s, it's Giuseppe Iannucci, our pole sitter in the Mazda MX-5s, leading the way there. Second, Rob Hartley. Third, Travis Schwenke. Fourth, David Payton. Fifth, Scott Kennedy. Sixth, Geordie Fike. Seventh, Dries Nice. Eighth, John Allen. Our Mazda MX-5 winner from last week at Barber Motorsports Park, and Chris Henn in ninth. And in the Mazda MX-5 Open category, it is Tyler McFarlane leading the way there with Richard Losber second, Chris Torman third, Edgar Sancinelli in fourth, Mike Taylor fifth, Mike Key in sixth, seventh, Dan Carido, eighth, Aaron Grotzkoff, and then ninth, Dan Kruger, and 10th, it is Matthew Felsenbach.
I don't know if you can see as well. I don't know if we can get a good shot of it, but one thing iRacing's done over the past year or so is that they went with this circuit is they've got accurate flags for the wind readings and everything, and it's a 24-mile-an-hour wind here. Now, it's probably not going to play too much havoc with these cars, but I don't know if we can get a shot of those flags just to see exactly, the severity of the breeze here, Adam. It's pretty strong out there.
Pretty strong considering we're in a relatively flat region of France, or maybe that's why it opens itself up to strong winds. But yeah, we're about to head down to the grid. Let's run you through it then. Pasquale Iannucci starts on the pole. Clint Vigus second. Mike Dam third. Russell Ruddock fourth. Michael Burgett fifth. Sixth, Leon Wright. Seventh, Matthew Catila. Eighth, Kevin Ford. Ninth, Tyler Shiflett. 10th, Brandon Whitworth. 11th, Scott Brooks. 12th, Raymond Bader Jr. 13th, Jeff Jacobs. 14th, Logan Mitchell. 15th, Ryan Tibbetts. 16th, Robert Brist. Into the Mazda MX-5s, it's Giuseppe Iannucci on pole position there. Travis Schwenke second. David Payton third. Fourth, George Fike. 5th, John Allen, our winner from last week in the Mazda MX-5s. 6th, Scott Kennedy. 7th, Tyler McFarlane. 8th, Sean Cole. 9th, Chris Torment. 10th, Michael Key. Sean Cole, familiar name to you viewers out there from the sim racing world. 11th, Rob Hartley. And then 12th, Stephen Thomas in his Ford Mustang. Didn't set a time in qualifying. Then it's Mike Taylor in his Mazda MX-5. Then Tori Tesla in 30th place overall. Dan Carrido 31st. 32nd, Edgar Sancinelli. And Aaron Grotzkoff will be starting right at the back in a 33 strong field.
And it is a very strong field as well. 33 drivers. Eagle-eyed BSRTC viewers will remember that Sean Cole's made 5 starts in the British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship as well. So have him back on the grid. Incidentally, Brandon Whitworth, you said he won last time out, of course, at Barber. Barber, sorry?
Yes, it was Barber.
It was Barber. Yeah. Brandon Whitworth now actually 6th overall. If you were to combine the GS Pro with the Open category. So there we go. Brandon Whitworth having a very, very good season. Only actually 39 points behind the leader, Clint Vigas.
He was able to hold them 2 at bay for the majority of the races. We start rolling now. Pace car going. Looks like is he still in first gear? Yes, he is. Clicking away at 53 miles per hour before we head into the Porsche curves, one of the key parts of the circuit.
Yes, and one of the most dangerous as well. We saw absolute carnage and mayhem the other night when the BSRTC, the Winter Series. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. We also had controversy in that. Did we actually have the official decision yet about the championship?
I don't actually know. I believe
we haven't been notified specifically. So,
well, if you want to see a cock-up worthy of the Oscs from 2017, you can watch the BSRTC yes. Winter Series final race where we believe
you can watch us potentially award the championship to the wrong driver. So, right then.
Well, we apologise for the timing errors that we appear to be having, but
try and get those fixed as soon as we can. Right then, Adam. Porsche curves have been negotiated by the field.
The MX-5s always seem to have trouble with that left-hander that we've gone through as well, especially if you carry too much speed into it.
Seems to overload the tyres, doesn't it? And, yeah, a lot of spins to the inside. But the Mustang seems like it's got more... There's more chance of spinning the Mustang generally in slow corners, I think, than in the fast ones. The pace car pulls into pit road then. French Air Force going over the top. And Pasquale Iannucci's going to have the honour then. The green flag flies. Oh, and Iannucci. Well, he nearly lost it coming out the final corner. He got just a good enough jump, and we're away here in the Ricmotech Sportscar Series. Mike Dam already been challenged by Russell Ruddock through the Dunlop curve, and it's actually Dam that keeps that place. Let's have a look at the MX-5s. Those guys are coming through the last chicane as well. When's Giuseppe Iannucci going to decide to go? Have to go soon, because there's the line. Once he reaches the line, Adam, they could have gone, couldn't they?
Could have gone whenever he wanted, really. But
they could have gone behind him.
Yeah, so they were being very courteous there.
Yeah, they were. They were leaving it quite late, letting the leader go. But yeah, you've got to hit it before that start-finish line, ideally.
Yeah, it hasn't worked out at all for Schwenke and all that, has it? Because David Payton's been able to get by into second in class.
Yeah, he's lost out. John Allen's up there. Oh, it's a crash between Scott Kennedy and Tyler McFarlane. I think what happened was Kennedy spun. Oh no, it was McFarlane just clipping Kennedy. From the angle I had, it looked like a spin, but it was actually contact. So the two drivers involved were the ones who were on the. Now there's a. I think Scott Kennedy might have suspension issues, Adam, because he really struggled to turn into that chicane.
might do there, and that's a bad move for Tom McFarlane, of course, because he is the open class leader in the Mazda MX-5s, and that crash at the first corner won't have done too much to help his championship aspirations there.
Now, the Ford Mustangs, they're not known for the slipstreaming capabilities. We've seen that over the season, but if there's anywhere that we're going to see it, it's going to be here at Le Mans. And into the first chicane goes Pasquale Iannucci, ahead of Mike Dam, and then it's Clint Vigas, Russell Ruddock, Michael Burgett, Leon Wright, Matthew Catila, Kevin Ford, and Brandon Whitworth is the top 10. And there's a split in the field, actually, after Brandon Whitworth. You've got Tyler Shiflett, and then he's kind of in no man's land, really, and there's the rest of the pack.
Yeah, and it might just be my timing screen, but it looks like Scott Brooks has got a lot of damage to the front end of his Mustang, so there might be a reason why we've got the two splits in the Mustang field. Maybe a moment for Scott Brooks.
Sorry, Adam. David Payton going for the lead in the MX-5 into the second chicane. Going to be having a look.
And you can already see a breakaway field in the Mazda MX-5s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the cars here going into the second chicane. The Michelin chicane, I believe it's called.
Here we go. Oh, now that might be a slowdown for Payton. Well, he did go right across the curb, didn't he? Almost 4 wheels over, but it doesn't look like he's got a slowdown penalty, because if he has on lap 1, it'd be an absolute disaster for him. So I hope for his sake he hasn't got one. Yeah,
I don't know what iRacing determines as a cutting the course moment in that chicane. I don't know if it's maybe the inside through the middle part or maybe on the exit, don't know. But yeah, David Payton losing out second place there. Travis Schwenke takes his starting position back going into the Mulsanne corner.
Mustang's looking well behaved so far. You've got to watch out for Clint Vigas as well, because he's a driver, Adam, who's traditionally quite a slow starter. The first half an hour isn't always his forte, but then he seems to really come back strongly later on. So we could see, as the race develops, Vigas being a very strong proposition for the other drivers. He's leading the championship, of course.
Yeah, Vigas and Dam separated by, well, they're inseparable on the track at the moment. Vigas has been passed by Dam in the early going. Dam started third up to second, and Vigas started on the front road down to third. But yeah, these two inseparable on the track here. And yeah, Vigas did okay last time out at Barber Motorsports Park, was running near the front, got involved in a bit of contact, if I can remember rightly, early on, when he was battling for the lead with Whitworth. So yeah, he's doing a good job at the moment, but we'll see. A long way to go. Still under 90 minutes of, well, just under 90 minute of racing still to go around the circuit, and we're only just coming into the Ford chicane now to complete the opening lap of the race.
Yeah, that's it. Still expecting to get quite a lot of laps in this hour and a half. Nearly 5 minutes, of course, these guys, or 4.5 minutes roughly for the Mustangs. 4:43 there in race time. Oh, that was the first lap, of course. So we'll see if that gets much quicker throughout the race. You would expect it to be maybe a second or two faster in the next couple of laps, and then you might have to wait for the fuel to come down before you see any real improvement. As everyone else seems to be just spreading out a little bit, Adam. Of course, it's that last sector, isn't it, that really, including the Porsche curves, that really separates the drivers out.
Yeah, I was just watching the Mazda MX-5s negotiating the Porsche curves for the first time. It's that outside wall, isn't it? Right at the beginning of the Porsche curves that catch a few of the drivers out, and one of them, I think it was John Allen, our winner last time out at Barber Motorsports Park, just brushing it in the early going, and if you hit it too hard, you can find the car spinning around right in front of you and ruining your race.
Yeah, and Mazda's just completing their first lap now. So that is Travis Schwenke, who's got the lead then. So it didn't work well for him off the start, but he's had a good second half of the lap, get back into the lead then. And Giuseppe Iannucci, who was involved in a couple of absolutely astonishing finishes this season, had him up into second place. And, you know, if he can stay there, I think he'll be happy if he can sort of just neutralise Schwenke here.
Yeah, we saw a few enthralling finishes in the rounds that we've had so far this season. We started off the season at Daytona, didn't we, under the lights there? We saw a safety car as well, which is something we haven't seen too often in this season. And Iannucci now trying to get the position back by getting past Travis Schwenke. Going into Tetra Rouge here to start lap 2. Running out wide on the exit there. Is it possible to pick up a slowdown if you go out too wide through that right-hander?
I can imagine it is, but because it is a little bit of an advantage if you can come off the corner a little bit straighter, as now Schwenke having to defend from Iannucci. It's one of those situations, Adam, where really it's sort of a little bit less taking the lead here, but you kind of have to do it, otherwise you'll just get swallowed up.
Yeah, it is really. You've just got to go for it, haven't you? It's a bit like going down the Dottinger Hoe at the Nordschleife. You lose more time just sitting behind, and you lose more top speed as well, even though these Mazda MX-5s will hit their top speeds quite comfortably, even with the chicanes on this small sand straight.
Yeah, David Payton got a good run there, so his top speed's going to be pretty handy, you'd imagine, to getting such a good run. But Travis Schwenke's going to get the slipstream as well, and I don't know if we can go on board with David Payton and see what he can see, but it looks pretty static from here, Adam. It's a tiny closing speed, isn't it? As Schwenke's getting the benefit of Iannucci.
Yeah, he's reaching 129, 130 miles per hour as we head down the second part of the Mulsanne Straight. Will he get two positions here, actually, David Payton? He's got past one of them, and Schwenke could get Iannucci here into the second chicane, and Iannucci doesn't put up too much of a fight in the early going, and yeah, David Payton back to the lead.
He was quite late on the brakes there, and you've got to be careful again that you don't cut the course one of these chicanes, because if you get a slow down penalty, then that's going to be a serious issue for you on a circuit like this. No issues for Schwenke.
Can tell you that Logan Mitchell's out. I know he's had problems with his internet during the practice and qualifying session, so that might have forced his hand. And Raymond Bader Jr. also out of the race in the early going.
Aaron Grosskopf in the pits, as is Michael Key and Scott Brooks. So I don't know if they've had an incident together, but
battle going on here, Woody, between Clint Vigus and Matthew Catila. So Vigus has lost touch with that pack. Maybe he's had a moment somewhere around the lap, but now he's lost the position to Catila, and now he's having to fend off the two cars of Whitworth, and that up the inside, is that Tyler Shiflett? I think it is. The way around, sorry, it's Shiflett behind, and Whitworth trying to take the position off Clint Vigus here.
Yes, and so Whitworth again showing well. Yeah, Vigus having an issue. See what happened to Vigus there?
I can quickly rewind for you and see if it's able to catch it, but yeah, losing touch with that main pack, our championship leader, Clint Vigus.
I'll have a quick look at that as well. Oh, he's had a bit of a poor lap. He had he had a half spin coming out of
one of the chicanes, was it?
Arnage.
He had a half spin there, but he was already
losing time, yeah.
I'm just looking myself. It might have happened quite earlier on in the lap. It looks all fine going into the Forza chicane.
Fine into Mulsanne in terms of
it's
already happened.
It was a slowdown on the exit of Tetra Rouge. That's what happened to
okay. Yeah. And like we said, that's the perfect illustration of just how much time that loses you.
Definitely, especially if you pick up an invalid lap, because the iRacing service bases the slowdown off your lap time, as Vigus now goes side by side with Matthew Catila going through the S's on the opening part of the lap, trying to take the 5th place away. That's good, close.
Yeah, it was very close. It's a good section, this, though. Down through the Dunlop curve, and then this fast chicane, and then Turn Rouge here that we see.
Definitely is. I was on a different service last night. I was on Forza, actually, driving in the Porsche prototype. And that section is brilliant to drivers. Please don't tell me Vigus has got another slowdown.
He looks like he could have. He did take a lot of the inside curve through Turk Rouge, though, didn't he? So, again, he's paying the price. We said his first half an hour wasn't the best, but we didn't want him to go about demonstrating it this way anyway.
At least the car's still in one piece. Now it's the turn of Tyler Shiflett to try and take the position away from Catila anyway, going into the Forza chicane. Wow, Vigus. Wow. That was a long way back, and surely that's going to be another slowdown penalty.
He's lost another place, and that's another slowdown. It's all unravelling for the championship leader. That so often happens, doesn't it, really? When you big someone up as a championship leader, they do invariably have issues. Who's that in front? Is that Stephen Thomas and Kevin Ford? Sorry, it's Kevin Ford and Brandon Whitworth, going side by side. Stephen Thomas is in the green car. Oh, it's Vigus. Changes lanes extremely quickly. Oh, like a slightly dodgy motorway driver on that occasion.
Well, he's late on the brakes. and he's been able to get past Stephen Thomas anyway. This time we don't think he will pick up a slowdown penalty out of the Michelin chicane.
He was fine through there, but yeah, that's again one of the big dangers. We illustrated it, we talked about it, and perfect depiction of that. As it's starting to spread out a tiny bit at the front of the MX-5s. There's a massive gap between fourth and fifth places, so something must have gone on there, because Tyler McFarlane is 11 seconds behind Geordie Fike.
Yeah, he's just hanging on to the coattails of the three drivers in front of him, Peyton, Iannucci and Schwenke. But yeah, Rob Hartley and Tyler McFarlane miles behind. Rob Hartley last time around did a 5:05 compared to the 4:58 that the guys in front of him are doing. So I wonder if something might have happened there between those guys, maybe a moment in the Porsche curves or something. But yeah, huge deficit for the likes of Rob Hartley and everyone else to make up. Don't forget, Rob Hartley's second in the pro standings for the Mazda MX-5, so big round for him to make up during this race.
Can't help but wonder if John Allen was involved as well.
Battle for the lead, was that in the Mustangs possibly?
It would have been in the MX-5 probably.
Yeah, we've got Iannucci's heading both classes.
Yeah, and Giuseppe Iannucci going past Schwenke again. It's good to see Geordie Fike up there, isn't it? He's not had the best of luck this season, and we haven't seen him at the front very often.
No, Geordie Fike in the championship standings is currently in 6th place there. Not quite a way off the lead, about 60 or so points off Giuseppe Iannucci, but doing a brilliant job so far. And I did say at the beginning of the broadcast that this circuit is a race equaliser as he goes off. We've been building up these drivers today, haven't we? Can only apologise. It seems to be a regular thing in this commentary box anyway.
Yes, the commentators alive and well. It's good to see. We haven't been
even
short
at 2
of it.
a.m.
We haven't been short. Yeah, we haven't been short of it in 2017. Yeah, it's omnipresent is the commentator's curse, I think. As the leaders swapping positions.
Yeah, they're going to Indianapolis,
David
aren't they?
Payton's involved this time. I think we're going to get a lot of this. I mean, we've already had a lot of it, but it may not stop either until at least after the pit stops.
Yeah, if Alex Simpson was here, he'd say this is going to be something we're going to see for the entire race. Even when it might die down in the pit stops. That was something that we saw last time out at Barber Motorsports Park, which was a shame. But as long as these drivers do well during the pit stops, and there could be more than one of them during this endurance race, I should say, in the Ricmotech Sportscar Series, we could be on for a good race here for the battle for the lead in the Masters.
I think it'll be a great race. As I'm more interested in the battle between Tyler McFarlane and Rob Hartley at the minute as well, because we haven't really seen these guys. We have to give them a bit of love on the stream.
Sean Cole's got a good view of this as well.
He's got a good view as well if anything goes off between these two. But Cole needs to, he needs to make sure he stays within that slipstream range, Adam, because as soon as he loses it, then he's going to be dropping back into the clutches of the guys behind.
Tell you what, it's going to be a lonely race for any driver that hasn't got a partner to slipstream with. 90-minute race, and if you lose a slipstreaming partner, you then really got no one to race with, and then it's going to be a pretty lonely 90 minutes, especially if you haven't got a spotter to talk to with either.
The likes of Ryan Tibbetts at the minute is he's one of the drivers who's not got anything, not really got any help out there at the minute. But again, it can come back to you in a 90-minute race, as Mike Dam's getting close to Pasquale Iannucci now in the GS Pro category. But again, just that slight lack of slipstream in this Ford just means that the chicane just comes up a little bit too quickly for his liking.
Yeah, these Mustangs aren't too aerodynamically efficient compared to the Mazda MX-5s. That rear wing doesn't seem to be doing too much to help Mike Dam down the final part of the Mulsanne straight. Russell Ruddock trying his best to hold on to them as well. At the line, the top three were separated by just under 2 seconds.
Slipstream starts to come nicely for these Mustang drivers at the end of the straight, just noticing that. But yeah, it's a bit like They were saying at Pocono, weren't they, that they were getting a nice slipstream, but it was almost a little bit too late on in the going on the main straight there.
Well, I think the only straight that would ever work for the Mustangs then would be the Dottinger Hoa, because I think that's the only straight we've got longer than this.
Here comes Dam now.
Yeah, got a good run out of Mulsanne, didn't he?
Yeah, he got a fantastic run, and that's the overspeed that you need in order to get through. And Mike Dam, first time tonight, is up into the lead.
Good job from him. Started third on the grid. Was able to get by Clint Vigas, his championship rival, and with Vigas down... Oh, he makes a little bit of a mistake going into Indianapolis. Didn't look like he hit the apex too well there. And with Clint Vigas down in 9th place now, starting in second, as Russell Ruddock now tries to take second away from Pasquale Iannucci. This is going to give him some valuable points,
and
Mike Dam.
He'll succeed there, Ruddock, because he got a nice run, didn't he, through Arnaz. Driving from Ruddock. Michael Burgett is one of these drivers as well who's got absolutely nothing in front of him or behind him. Really, he's 5 seconds behind Ruddock and he's 5 seconds in front of Tyler Schiffler. So Schiffler's lapping a couple of seconds quicker, although he's got a bit of damage on that Ford.
Amazing how quickly things can change. Pasquale Iannucci just going into the second chicane earlier on the lap down the Mulsanne straight. Looked like he got things relatively under control. A nice advantage, but now he's down to third position, and Mike Dam is away up the road.
Yeah, nice. Exactly what can happen. Schifflet's car is crabbing. Getting word from the...
Oh, yeah, it's crabbing
our
quite
producer.
a bit, actually, yeah. Wonder if this is something, if this is a new development.
I was going to say well spotted, Alex, but looking at it now, it's quite easy to spot. I don't know how I didn't spot that as well, unless he's hit the, he's been in the wall or something at some point.
Reminds me of a few things. Wojciech Savidovic in the Kia Optima Brands Hatch in the BSR, Montreal, I should say, in the BSRTC a long time ago. Also,
Looks a bit more drivable than that, but only just, I think. He's into the pits.
Yeah, and in the NASCAR, I was about to say Sprint Cup, of course, it's the Monster Cup now. I think Sam Hornish Jr. was driving a car pit like that.
There's no...
Oh, yeah, there's been a crash, Woody. That's how it's happened. Oh, dear. Well, basically, it was going into just under the Dunlop Bridge at the start of the lap. Tyler Schiffler was lapping Michael Key, similar to McNish in a way, trying to lap that Ferrari a few years ago at Le Mans. Moves across, and they both go off. Schiffler goes off into the wall, and he carries on with the car crabbing, and he's now into the pits.
He was leading that second group, wasn't he? So, oh yeah, you know what? That's the same accident, isn't it? Just at a much slower speed. Exactly the same accident. And in fairness, you know what? There's absolutely nothing that Michael Key can really do about that, because Schiffler's just not giving him any space.
Gave him the world. Gave him the world and a half, to get that overtake done, and he wanted more of it. Did Schiffler, as Pasquale Iannucci back into second place, getting past Russell Ruddock there.
Let's see how that happened. Probably did see it on the... Oh, it's just... Ruddock was braking very early into the second chicane. The first chicane, sorry. I don't really know why he was so cautious in there, but yeah, that's allowed Iannucci back up into the second place.
Of course, you are watching the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Sportscar Series, brought to you by TD's Tree Service, I should say. Head over to Ricmotech's website for all the latest equipment.
And we're so glad to have you joining us here on Apex Racing TV on what is Tuesday morning in the United Kingdom. And of course, a very good Monday evening to you if you're in the United States.
And the start of happy week 13, or to the UK viewers anyway, it'll be week 13 in a few hours for you based in America.
And of course, we've got some, I was reading through the patch notes actually earlier on, Adam, and very exciting developments going on in that. With nearly all the cars have had tyre physics model changes, which is fantastic to see that's coming in. And also we've got the Las Vegas Bull Ring, which looks like a fantastic shorter circuit.
Yeah, just right next to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and what's the length? 3/8 of a mile or something like that. And
it's fairly short, but what I've seen of it, it's very wide, and it looks like you can run multiple grooves as well. So I'm sure that'll be very good racing around there.
maybe we should dust off the oval and get back out there like we did last year.
You can. I haven't got a steering wheel. You can.
I can ditch it out. I can dish it out the wardrobe.
I'll spot you. I'll spot you and say where I can say you've got wheel damage, in
an Australian accent. Yeah.
Possibly. Yeah. As there's no damage, thankfully, at the minute, at least for the guys in the Mazda MX-5s.
Here comes Giuseppe
ST
again, doesn't
category. Yeah, and it's just a constant
he? Oh, 3 wide nearly.
shift here, isn't it? As Peyton goes through now, and Schwenke's going to have to pick up the toe quickly. But again, they've given so much leeway with the slipstream in this car, isn't there? That you can even have a pretty bad chicane or a pretty bad straightaway section, and you can still pick up the slipstream nicely.
Yeah, it's just back and forth between these three over the last few laps. And now Giuseppe Iannucci's heading the field, but I'm sure by the time we get back round to the line, it could be David Payton or maybe Travis Schwenke that's leading them around. And they're probably just taking turns at the moment until the action gets a bit more serious in the next few minutes during the race.
Yeah, and we mentioned Sean Cole a bit ago. Now that he's been dropped off the McFarlane-Hartley battle, is he pitted actually? Sean Cole been in the pits? I think he has, hasn't he? He's been in the pits, hasn't he? So he's the first of the early men to stop, it looks like.
Well, he probably has. He's been listed as having an invalid lap on my timing screen, so I can't help you there.
Oh, he's had a crash.
Oh, that's what's happened.
He's had a crash, and I bet you almost any money that's in the Porsche curves, because the damage is quite extensive to that MX-5. Let's see what's happened to...
Looks like a lot of damage to the rear of my screen. I don't know if it's same for you.
Oh, let's see what's happened to Cole. So he goes through the first right-hander in the Porsche curves. Everything looks okay. And then through the left. Oh, you know what? He's had some strange internet issue or something. Because I was looking at it, and basically what looks like has happened is he's disappeared, but he's reappeared. He's reappeared in the wall.
Oh.
And he's severely damaged the car. So I wonder if that's just I wonder if that's just an issue on his end there. So
It might have had Adam Bath syndrome, where he disappears, and the next thing, when he appears in that god awful Blancpain endurance race that we did, Monza.
Oh dear. I know.
We did 2 weeks of practice for that as well. Maybe even less, maybe less than that. But we had done an extensive amount of practice for it, and it ended like that.
Problem when the old steering wheel dies. Oh, Schwenke! Schwenke's crashed. He hasn't crashed. He's spun, but he did well to not hit anything.
Well, he's very lucky. If he was racing on a configuration of the Le Mans circuit from about 2010 or before that, he would have been out, because that would have been a heavy concrete wall that would have been there.
Wall there, wasn't there?
Before,
was that moved when Jan Magnussen bit the dust there?
Yes,
bit the dust as in the race,
yeah.
not properly, but it was a horrible crash that he had in the Corvette.
I think a Delta Wing might have had a huge incident there as well in that year as well.
With the back marker, I think it was it? Possibly on that one. But yeah, it was a dangerous section, and I'm glad that they've taken some steps to make that a bit better.
I think Alex, just going back to what we were talking about previously, I think Alex Marshall our producer was in that race with us as well. Way back when we were having a go at the Blancpain GT series.
I think that's right, and we didn't really do ourselves justice in that, did we? To be honest, but
not really. Yeah, we sort of ran away.
Single-handedly lost my A license, I think, because of that.
I think I can
not that one race.
Was that my fault?
No, not the one race. That was sheer accumulation of of incidents, I think, for me, that was. At Zolder, possibly, that did me in. You remember that? Conrad made a video out of it. As here comes... So it's Peyton and Iannucci now. We're down to 2 Musketeers at the front.
And then there were 2
There.
on lap 6 for the Mazda MX-5s at the moment, down the Moorsand Straight.
This is going to make it a bit easier for them, isn't it, though? In fairness, because, it's just one less thing to think about. They're just going to have to race each other and just, it is literally a 2-horse race at the minute, because Jody Fike, he's about 7 seconds behind. He's got no slipstream to help either.
Nice free-car battle, though, between...
And a poor lap for Jody Fike as well. He was on the back of this group, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was a 5-minute lap, 5 seconds slower than the cars in front of him. Of course, he didn't have the slipstream. I doubt the slipstream's worth 5 seconds in his Mazda MX-5s. But just behind him, you can see a nice free-car battle between McFarlane, between Schwenke, who's trying to get some redemption here, and the car that's right behind him is Rob Hartley.
Yeah, so this will be a good battle then. And they could do a lot worse than latching on to Travis Schwenke, actually, could they? Because he's one of the quickest cars out there. If they can stay with him, which has proved to be reasonably easy, then they could find themselves potentially even getting closer to the leaders. We've still got an hour left.
Well, it's apt in France, as I think we were talking about it in the BSR Mazda MX-5 series the other week. You can compare this to road cycling in a way. Maybe Rob Hartley and Travis Schwenke can use... maybe they can use Rob Hartley and Tyler McFarlane, I should say, can use Travis Schwenke to maybe push themselves a bit further forward. We know how quick Travis Schwenke is around this circuit. He was up near the top 3 just before his spin. Maybe they can use him to get themselves further near the front.
Yeah, that's right. And he's no domestique, is Travis Schwenke, but he's very quick, and he could help bridge the gap, especially if they can maybe grab Jody Fike along the way as well, because it's only going to be a small thing, really, but there is definitely an advantage to running in a pack of 4 as to running in a pack of 2. So yeah, we'll see how what pans out. I mean, I know if this was NASCAR, you'd rather be in the pack of 3 or 4 than the 2-car ensemble, at least these days.
Yeah, no tandem style racing here in the Ricmotech Sportscar Series.
I'm actually surprised we haven't seen any bump drafting either, but I guess that's just...
Maybe that's for later.
Because the slipstreaming is so prevalent that maybe you don't need it.
Check back in on the Mustangs. We've actually got a few pit stops going underway here. Michael Burgett is just leaving his pit box now. Scott Brooks is also in the pits along with Ryan Tibbetts and Robert Brist. I can tick all these numbers off on my piece of paper.
You have been relegated to a piece of paper this week, though, haven't you? Because laptop, the laptop it's like a slideshow for you, isn't it, at the minute?
Yeah,
as Burgett came out of the pits and nearly lost it in the first chicane, back in the rear ending, like Valentino Rossi on old tyres, and that'll warm the tyres up, maybe not in the desired fashion.
Yeah, the laptop's making more appearances than I was hoping it would, but unfortunately, being down here for the last 2 weeks, always on Mondays as well. I was back up in Manchester the other day, and I was able to get a nice 180 frames per second going.
Down to earth, you just knock the 0 off, and that's probably what you get.
Much.
Is it?
Yeah, 10th of what I was going on last Saturday for the Kia, and the other day for the Club 73 King of the Ring.
Just a question, because I didn't actually get the chance to ask you this before the race. How long did it take you to load into the session here?
Well, I started loading in about 25 minutes before we went on air. I managed to get in about 10 minutes later, I think.
As there's a battle for the lead in the Ford Mustangs. I know those days well, mate. Back when pretty much the worst track you had to deal with was Spa-Francorchamps.
Oh, there's a problem there's a crash, and it's someone. Hang on, just trying to find who it is. It's Wright.
Leon Wright.
Yeah, he goes off, blows the engine, And Brandon Whitworth, I don't know whether the car was already crabbing before he hit him, but he is crabbing and a half right now.
Have a look. Oh, Whitworth's car didn't look fantastic. Oh, and then the engine blows as a sort of a delayed reaction. But
oh, and
Whitworth...
has Tesla blown an engine too? Yes, he blew.
Unless the batteries have run out.
Tory, yeah, oh, very good, very good. Tory Tesla, yeah, I think he blew the engine while he was on his way towards Indianapolis. So that is him getting, well, his apps were also at Le Mans as well.
Whitworth, I've just seen Whitworth's car after the accident, yeah. It didn't, I couldn't see an engine blow, so...
Oh, of Tesla's engine's blown, I can tell you that. But, and he's out, so I can give him the marker of doom at Le Mans.
Marker of Doom. Oh, the marker of doom. Yes. Sorry. What was that, Alex? Sorry.
The Mustang leaders pitted, so Pasquale Iannucci into the pits. Him and Mike Dam. So I can tick those guys. Car 8 and car 93.
Apologies for talking to someone who's invisible, but I'm deaf as a deaf thing. So I sometimes don't quite get everything.
Stephen Thomas is also in as well. So with the majority of the Mustang field making their pit stops. Clint Vargas, championship leader, also in.
I think the deafness probably comes from some too loudly. I reckon. I think my voice is too loud. It's Iannucci, Mike Dam,
32.
Clint Vargas.
Sorry, I'm whispering.
Kevin Ford is in the pits as well. Jeff Jacobs is in. They're all in at the same time, really. So.
And the crabbing Whitworth as well, 42.
But Ruddock is now with Katila then, so both these two have pitted as well.
Did they pit on the most recent lap? Yes, they did.
He lost time in the pits, Ruddock, then? He must have lost about 15 seconds, has he? 5:37 for him. Katila 5:23. So, I mean, is that a bad pit stop for... What are the rest of them doing? 10 seconds slower. And Mike Dam has got out, has lost about 4 seconds here as well. So Iannucci's leading by quite a distance now.
Well, so that means he's been able to pit and emerge still in the race lead, so...
Yep, and he's... Sorry, he's now well out of slipstream range, sorry.
I was just going to say, it's still on for him to lead every single lap. That's still achievable. I know.
And he could do the Grand Slam as well with the practice, the qualifying, the race lead, leading every lap. Has he got the fastest lap as well? Who's got the fastest lap at the minute?
Oof. No, it's okay. He's got the fastest lap as well. So
that'd be a complete clean sweep of everything.
Of course, you do get bonus points in this championship. We should just put that out as well for for leading a lap and for leading the most laps as well.
David Payton's 6 seconds clear of Iannucci now as well.
So that's worked out a dream for him. They haven't had their pit stops yet. No, they haven't had their pit stops yet.
Iannucci's last lap was 5:03.
He's in. David Payton is in.
Oh no, Iannucci has been in the pits. Iannucci was in the pits last lap, and now Payton's in the pits now. So, okay.
Okay, so car 64, Payton in. Giuseppe Iannucci, car 5 was in last time around, as Andrew was just saying there. Tyler McFarlane also in.
Yeah, we've seen a few battered race cars out there in this one. See what McFarlane can do then, as he was in briefly up into second. Can he gain any time on David Payton? We've seen some big variations of pit stops in this race. So far, with Ruddock losing 10 seconds.
Payton away, so all is well for him. Where is Iannucci? Slightly slower than Iannucci's lap time, pit stop time we're hearing. Here comes Iannucci down the front straight now. Whereabouts is David Payton? It looks like he should rejoin the lead, Andrew.
Yeah, I think you're right there.
It'll be close, actually.
Oh, it
Payson's
will
just
be.
coming through now.
Iannucci's at full speed. All relative in the MX-5, I suppose. Only 110 miles an hour, actually, at the end of the straight area Le Mans. Now, soon we're going to see the Mustangs lapping some of the back of the MX-5 field as well. So we've got that to factor in the second half of this event. Traffic could well be an issue. John Allen making some places as a couple of drivers have been in the pits. Mike Taylor, Chris Tormod. I think Sancinelli was in on that lap as well. John Allen up to 22nd.
Yeah, things going well for John Allen at the moment. Well, won last week at Barber Motorsports Park. Doesn't look like he's going to be hitting the heights of that race meeting this week, but yeah, still going strong. Has he been into the pits during this race? I think he has. If you're doing a time of 5 minutes 55, I think you have been into the pits as he goes onto the grass going on the exit of the S's.
I say, I think he would. That was a bit of a hairy moment in this. In the Kia Optima, you wouldn't probably bat an eyelid at that, but in the MX-5s, that's one that could be very, very dangerous.
I can tell you that of all the Mustangs that are still running, they've all done their first pit stop. So that is your order now.
Pasquale Iannucci's lead is 3.3 seconds, so Dam lost a good 2.5 seconds. Iannucci actually on that lap was 2.6 seconds quicker, but that's to do with the pit stop time as well, of course. Clint Vigas is back up to 4th. He's actually going very well, Adam. He lost about 9 seconds in that first slowdown. Remember, he had another slowdown as well. And now he's back to 9 seconds behind.
Yeah, and this is what we've been talking about, especially at the beginning of the show, how Clint Vigas comes on strong once the stop is out the way. He was as far down as 8th at one point in the first stint of the race, but since he's got the pit stop out of the way now, he's just under 10 seconds behind the leader, and he can see Stephen Thomas in 3rd place in his sights. Yeah,
he was a good 15-20 seconds behind as well, wasn't he? So excellent drive from him so far. Stephen Thomas, we've got to point out how good he's doing as well. How well he's doing, should I say. Get the grammar right. 5th overall in the championship, and he's on for a podium at the minute. He's got to hold off Vigas for 45 minutes, so that might be quite difficult, but I'm sure he'll give it a good effort.
Does it towards the back as well, Stephen Thomas. Qualified 28th, I think.
Is that a penalty, or is that...
Yeah, it might have been a penalty. I can tell you that, though, I think in rolling start races, he will have been put in and amongst his class, so it doesn't sound as bad as it actually was for Stephen Thomas, but yeah, just still doing a good job. Running through the top 10 in the two classes then at the moment. Iannucci leads the way after the pit stops in the Mustangs. Mike Dam 2nd, then 3rd Stephen Thomas, 4th Clint Vigas, 5th Kevin Ford, 6th Russell Ruddock, then right behind him in 7th place. Nice battle going on between those two. There's Matthew Catila. Then 8th is Jeff Jacobs on his own. Then 9th Michael Burgett and 10th Ryan Tibbetts. In the Mazda MX-5s, it is David Payton, who's coming under pressure from Giuseppe Iannucci. So battle for the lead in the Mazda MX-5s going on there for 1st and 2nd. 3rd is anyone's guess. It's McFarlane, Hartley and Schwenke, 3rd, 4th and 5th.
And they're battling right as we speak, side by side towards the Porsche curves. Hartley has just pulled out of the slipstream on McFarlane, and he's cleared him. And Schwenke's involved as well, and there's a Mustang in there. So is that Whitworth?
That's the crabbing Whitworth, yeah.
Is he still
crabbing?
You can
see the size difference. Just maybe a little bit oldish.
Oh, a little bit, yeah. He's had the suspension repaired a little bit, I think.
Botch job.
Somebody's whacked it with a hammer.
With a big hammer. Yeah, I was just going to say that.
But if in doubt, hit it with a hammer, isn't it? That's what we do in Yorkshire, at least.
Hammer and gaffer tape.
That's probably it, to be fair. As
how Leeds was built, possibly.
Well, you know, it's definitely built on probably tight with money as well. In fairness, as Through the last chicane goes Hartley, and he's now got his advantage over Tyler McFarlane. But he's going to find it difficult to keep, as we've said all evening, all morning. Rob Hartley is kind of not in the best position at the minute because McFarlane's coming. Whitworth is going to lap him as well. Now, Whitworth's got to pick his spot carefully, which he does. And that's up into 15th place. That was actually a battle for position.
Yeah, because Whitworth would have been in the pits to get that repaired. And
look how that slowed Hartley up. Just having to go marginally offline, Adam, and now Schwenke and McFarlane all over him.
Been saying it all season, all previous 7 races. This car is all about the consistency, and there you can see McFarlane going wide. That went give him
wide. Oh, nearly.
Nearly went. Had a
bit
tank
of a
slapper
moment.
there.
Just a bit outside on that one.
Oh, that's going to be a slowdown for sure.
And now he's quite a lot outside. And here comes Travis Schwenke. I think McFarlane might have got away with that slowdown somehow, because he did go very, very wide, didn't he? He wouldn't have gained an advantage, I don't think, out there. It's all dirty as well with the debris and the marbles. And McFarlane, I don't know, he could have potentially have had a slowdown because he's dropped back, hasn't he? He didn't. I suppose you if you want to ease off a little bit, you want to do it probably more towards the end of the straight, Adam, than at the beginning of it.
Yeah, I told the Schwenke got a slowdown as well, whilst in that battle with Tyler McFarlane. Has allowed Rob Hartley to pull away a little bit now off those two. Battle for the lead as well in the Mazda MX-5.
That could just be the last that they see of Rob Hartley, as David Payton is having to defend from Iannucci. They were half a second apart as they crossed the line. Now, see the gap there, you don't need me to tell you. And it's been a great battle so far, hasn't it? When Schwenke was involved as well, and here just with these two, it's even though, Adam, it's quite easy to overtake, nobody's really making any wonderful overtaking moves. It's got to be stressful for the drivers. It's got to be keeping them on the toes. The adrenaline will still be going.
Yeah, they'll be trying to keep their cool inside the cars. But when you're constantly battling, especially for the lead of a class like this in the Mazda MX-5, so it will start to take it out of you. We are, how far are we into the race? Just about halfway through now. And I'm sure as it continues, and since this battle seems to be continuing after the pit stops, Iannucci and Payton, they're going to be starting to get pretty... they'll be starting to run out of patience, possibly.
Yeah, and these are obviously two of the best competitors in the championship. Iannucci leading the way. David Payton is in 4th place, 47 points behind. So extra incentive going into the last, well, it would be the last 4 rounds after this. If David Payton can just claw a few points back, he may be able to actually move into 2nd place, depending on what happens with Hartley and with Schwenke.
Could do as well, yeah. Oh, running wide there through Arnage. Easy to do as well. It invites you to take a lot of speed into the corner, but if you get it wrong, there is a tyre barrier waiting for you on the outside.
Now, Clint Vigas is waiting for... well, Stephen Thomas is waiting for Clint Vigas at the minute, because Vigas is right there. Now we will see whether Thomas can hold back Vigas, who's driving very, very nicely. 4:35.909 on that last lap. That's one of the fastest laps of the race, if not the fastest. It wasn't a valid lap.
God, it was only half a second off Iannucci's pole time. That's how quick it was by Clint Vigas.
That's with, you know, this is with nearly a full tank of fuel. Here comes Clint Vigas for the lead. They have traffic on the way to Indianapolis. Oh! He's on the grass, Vigas. Oh! And I tell you what, channeling Dale Earnhardt Sr. there. Unbelievable. He had absolutely nowhere to go. Knew he had to take the chance. And I tell you what, he made that look very scary, but very effective. Brilliant from Clint Vigas.
Maybe you've seen it at Days of Thunder or something. He might have even made the cut in the Le Mans film or something there. I was on the chase cam because I'm forced to watch it from the chase cam, and it was brilliant to watch as Clint Vigas negotiated that Mazda MX-5 and was able to do it Mika Hakkinen style there on Stephen Thomas and get into the third position, back to pretty much where he started. He's just one position away from where he started now in third place.
I was on the onboard view, and I was just thinking, no. And just fantastic piece of work, great competing there, and great piece of driving by Vigas, and good driving as well from Stephen Thomas to give the space. But yeah, the closing was such, he couldn't even use him as a blocker, could he?
Kevin Ford's having difficulty getting past Mike Taylor as well. So and now Vigas is going to negotiate Sean Cole.
The thing is, there wasn't a lot that Taylor could do because that's just where he was. He was all the way over to the right. Couldn't really move any further over because he'd have been on the grass himself. And it is reasonably narrow. And we mentioned the other night in the BSRTC that that's where Mike Rockenfeller had a tremendous accident on that straight. And it is narrow, isn't it? Especially when you're lapping traffic. With that kind of closing speed, we've seen two examples. We saw the accident in the Dunlop curve with was it Tyler Shiflett?
Yeah, it was Tyler Shiflett. Yeah,
and that's one that happened in real life, and then there was one that nearly happened there in a very similar fashion. But just the danger of this circuit, we mentioned it's always got surprises for the drivers.
Yeah, and it helps on the Mulsanne straight as well because of the hard shoulder on the left and the right. I forgot what it's called in America, but it'll come to me.
Called, actually. I don't think it's called a hard shoulder, is it? Service road, is it?
Could be. I'll Google it for you in a moment.
That's probably completely wrong.
Well, so Stephen Thomas is Stephen Thomas closing back up to the rear of Clint Vigas.
What's that, Alex? We've been reliably informed that it is the... That he doesn't know
either. He lives it.
There we go.
I would tell you, but the iPad's dead, so...
Any of our American friends can tell us what the road at the side of the highway is, the freeway possibly, then yeah, just let us know. Put a little comment on the YouTube chat and we'll find out.
It's on the tip of my tongue, but it's on the tip of my tongue. Yeah, and whilst we're here and we're just over halfway through the race now, and we can remind you to go and visit Ricmotech's website. Of course, the sponsor of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Sportscar Series, brought to you by TD's Tree Service. You can find all the latest Ricmotech equipment there and a lot of good stuff there as well.
Yeah, that's it. We've got to thank Ricmotech for the support for the series as well. So now I've found out, I believe, that the hard shoulder that we call the hard shoulder here is just called the shoulder in America. So there's nothing hard about it.
The apron, the warm-up... Oh, I'm just using racetrack terms now. The warm-up plane, yeah.
Yeah, for some reason that's why I thought service road, but yeah. But yeah, it's just the shoulder apparently. So it's not hard at all. Yeah. The flaccid shoulder.
Well, then again, we have hard Brexit. We might as well have hard shoulder.
Yes. Oh dear. Nothing easy about Brexit, let's be honest. So Vigas versus Thomas into the Indianapolis complex.
Vigas isn't able to away, but then again, he isn't really helped because he's got no one to slipstream in front of him. Mike Dam's just a bit up the road. Only about 6 seconds though, so not too far. Not within striking distance just yet.
It's good, smart competing from Stephen Thomas as well, because he's just getting tagged along with the man who's the fastest man in the race at the minute, Clint Vigas. And Thomas, he would do well to just sit there, really. But now. And if he's still there on the last couple of laps, make you move then. They are catching Iannucci very slowly. 9.3 seconds now. See exactly what can happen in that battle. Matthew Katila and Russell Ruddock have exchanged positions on that lap, so Ruddock is up to 6th.
Russell Ruddock trying to get some positions after a disastrous, pit stop for him.
Well, he was up into 2nd place play as well, wasn't he? And couldn't quite make it any further.
And this was all because didn't he make a pit stop first before everyone else, and it was a slow one as well.
Yeah, he lost a lot of time in the pit lane. Absolutely no idea why. Thought he might
put too much fuel in the car, or
thought if he joins us possibly for an interview after the race, then he might be able to find out.
Could be a different strategy as well. We do sometimes get that in these 90-minute races. We had it in Daytona, but of course that was the strategy was opened up really because of the safety car that we had during the race. Feels a long time ago since round 1.
Round 1, yeah, that's right. The safety car right in the middle, and it almost lasted for 25 minutes, didn't it? The safety car period.
Yeah, the race,
because there was a lot to sort out between the drivers. As Iannucci's made a mistake, possibly because he's lost 1 second to Mike Dam on that lap.
Yeah, Mike Dam will pick up a slipstream now, I think.
Well, he'll get one off the Mazda at least.
Yeah, that's the Mazda of Scott Kennedy.
Mustang's 20 miles an hour faster on the straight than the Mazda MX-5. I'd wager the MX-5 is better through the corners, but it lacks a lot of top end speed, especially around circuit like the circuit the 24 Hours de Mans.
Yeah, we saw that when it was Whitworth was trying to get past the Mazda MX-5s, and he was struggling to do it, especially through the opening pass of the lap before they got onto the Mulsanne straight. So this is definitely where the Mustang gains its time around this circuit, and there's plenty of time for it to gain. The Mustangs are doing 4:30s compared to the closer to 5-minute times done by the Mazda MX-5s.
That's right. As a side-by-side for the lead again between Iannucci and Peyton.
Won't be too long before the Mustangs lap these. Yeah, it's Peyton leading now, but comes Iannucci again.
Makes a slight error through Mulsanne corner. And now Iannucci can take the helm again. Maybe not the helm, because that's the back of the boat, isn't it? Usually, I think. Take the points, possibly. That's better. Like I said, this is a long straight as well. You think of it as one of the sort of medium-length straights on this circuit, Adam, but it's massive in its own right.
Yeah, it's pretty much equivalent to one part of the Mulsanne straight before the chicanes as they go into Indianapolis now. We saw one car in the Winter Series just skate off down that escape road to the right of the drivers and into the trees and out of the race.
Yes, we did, and that was I didn't think that was actually possible, that was an open road, an open exit to the race.
I'm sure Kimi Räikkönen would try it out if he was racing in Le Mans.
Leave me alone, I know what I'm doing.
Wah.
Wah. That's the noise that the drivers are probably making inside the car, yes, at the minute, because Peyton, Iannucci, side by side. Peyton still in the lead then into the Porsche curves. You can hear the tyres screeching, and this is the part of the track which the MX-5 it's quite quick through, but the tyres just do not enjoy it, do they?
I do love this part of the circuit, the Porsche curves. So difficult to get right, but if you do, it is absolutely brilliant. Oh,
that was my next sentence, really. It's awful to get right. It's very tough.
And Peyton nearly puts 2 wheels onto the grass there, going through the final part of the Porsche curves. It's going well at the moment. Got a little bit of an advantage, but I'm sure by the time they get back to the Mulsanne straight again to start lap 12 of the race, only lap 12, considering we're nearly an hour into the race, he'll be right back with David Peyton, I'm sure.
I think you're right. I don't think Peyton's getting away. Peyton might not even get away down this first straight, but I think the first straight is one that really... you almost wonder why would you make it difficult for yourself and try to do an overtake down the main straight and into the Dunlop chicane, because really it's comparatively very risky compared to other parts of the circuit.
Got a nice three-car battle going on here in the Mustangs between Russell Ruddock in 5th, 6th is Matthew Catila, and 7th is Kevin Ford. And Catila getting a good run here going into the Ford chicane.
Kevin Ford had a slow lap on the previous time round. That last tour was a good 10 seconds slower than the others. Ruddock goes deep into the chicane a bit, and it doesn't allow him the best run out.
Yeah, it's a very different line to the line that Catila was taking anyway, and these three now coming across the start-finish straight. You see Catila taking a very wide line, using pretty much the runoff area there before swinging it in. That's the Alex Simpson line.
That's the Alex Simpson line. It is the best line in terms of you are opening up the angle as much as possible, but you've got to bear in mind it could get quite dirty out there with marbles, because most drivers don't tend to go that far wide.
I think the two go hand in hand, don't they? The Alex Simpson line and the best line.
Could do. It's definitely a good example to follow. That was a bad turn rouge though that time for Kevin Ford. Now, is he still picking up the slipstream? I'd wager he is, but probably not getting a great deal of help down the Mulsanne straight this time.
That's nearly a bump draft.
Yeah, as Catila then is going to look for an opening. I definitely think it's not going to be here. He's bump drafted him. Has he bump drafted him past the apex of the corner? Almost. Oh, and you've got to be careful there. Be Kevin Ford. But Ford's got a great run out of that first chicane. Now, is he going to try and take advantage? Is he going to use it to try and make a place, or is he just going to punt him along slightly?
There was some bump drafting as well going on between Stephen Thomas and Clint Vigus. That's the battle over 3rd and 4th in the Mustangs as well. So they seem to be doing it now.
You have to be careful when you're bump drafting, incidentally, when there's traffic around, as you see here. As Ford is outbraked himself, and he almost smashes into Catila. But you've got to be careful, because you could easily pull out from the slipstream at the wrong time and clobber the lapped car. You can't really see a lot from behind one of these Ford Mustangs.
I mean, they're very tall cars, especially if you compare them side by side to a Mazda MX-5.
Well, that's it. And if you're bump drafting, you may not always see the other car coming. It's a good battle. It's a good battle, though, Adam. It really is. 3-car scrap.
Yeah, Kevin Ford had to get out of the gas there a little bit there going into Mulsanne corner. What he's having to do at the moment in the slipstream.
Nice to see 3 Mustangs fighting, because we haven't seen a massive amount of it so far. Obviously, the Mazdas are going to steal the show a tiny bit with the amount of slipstream they get, but it looks perfect for the Ford Mustang down here.
Oh.
Where's Kevin Ford going to go? Oh, he's going to
into the back of him.
Slam into the back of Catila. Not sure Catila's going to appreciate that here. It wasn't really a choice for Kevin Ford. Well, there was a choice, but he chose to use the chrome horn once more.
Might have been the better option, actually, rather than making it 3 wide.
Yeah, I wouldn't have gone 3 wide there at all. We've seen how 3 wide was very, very hairy indeed. Earlier on with Vigus and Thomas. Now this is where we need to be careful, Adam, as well. Oh, here we go. Oh, lapped car as well. In the Porsche curves. They're driving fairly sensibly out there, though. I mean, it seems to be working for all 3 of them. Staying in the race, staying intact. Well, that might be mistake from Kevin Ford. Too much inside curve there on him. And that's a slowdown.
Slow down there for Kevin Ford, so he's going to lose a bit of touch there too. And they're going into the pits for the second time.
Yeah, everyone into the pits. Apologise for the audio issues that we're having. As Russell Ruddock comes into the pits then, heading Matthew Catila and Kevin Ford. And actually the Mazda that they've just passed, which I think is George Fike, come in as well. So Fike's in. Second time. About on schedule, roughly there. For a nice even two-stop strategy. Who's going to emerge first? We're going to see Clint Vigas leaving the pits just in front of them then. And he hasn't managed to get past Mike Dam in the pits. See who's going to come out first. Oh, and Catila's been overhauled by Kevin Ford. A good stop for Ford. There wasn't much in it in the times. But Kevin Ford up to 6th position, Adam. Good pit stop there. Getting that extra time. Good work by Kevin Ford, getting that absolutely perfectly with about half an hour to go. You're just joining us here. This is the Extrememotorsports.com Ricmotech Sportscar Series from the Le Mans circuit in France. Andrew Woodhouse, Adam Bath, Alex Marshall here for Apex Racing TV, live on Tuesday morning if you're in Britain. Now 3:25 a.m. or if you're in the United States, of course, very late on in Monday evening. Let's have a quick recap of the way that this race has gone so far. In the GS Pro category, Guali Iannucci is ahead of Mike Dam. But how much longer will that be for? Because they are nose to tail now once more. They were 3 seconds apart at the start of the previous lap. They've come into the pits. And they are now fighting over what is the net lead. Stephen Thomas leads the race overall. But this is now what's going to be the real battle, you would think, for the race win, although it is close up there with Thomas. These two have been challenging each other for the entire duration so far. Who can take it? Stephen Thomas, like I say, he's still in with a chance. If he can do a very, very good lap here before his pit stop, which you would believe is coming up at the end of this one. I bet he's been able to save some fuel, though, when he's been behind... Vigas earlier on. Let's see, Stephen Thomas also has quite a big dent in the side of his Ford Mustang, which I didn't notice before. So I don't know where that's exactly come from. If he ducks into the pit lane now, and he does. Stephen Thomas started 28th on the grid. This has been a big lap for him. See if he's managed to cope with the pressure well and rise to the occasion. Sort that out and get a good... Oh, it's going to be very, very close. Where is Mike Dam? Mike Dam is coming out of the Porsche curves. Going to be pretty close, this, I reckon. Thomas gets one side of his tyres now. No, I don't think he's going to do it. I think Dam's coming through. And unless Thomas goes very, very quickly... Oh, he's away. He's away. This is going to be much closer than we anticipated here. It's going to be very close. And he wasn't actually that close in the end, but still a great effort by Stephen Thomas. Try and gain that time by using effectively the overcut there. Hopefully Adam Bath has rejoined us now.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Everything sounds okay, does it?
Yeah, sounds decent, mate.
Things are going well. Hopefully. Probably cursed it now, but yeah, entering an exciting 20 minutes now with Dam ahead of Iannucci.
The same with the voice chat as it is with the driving. Smoothness is key. And, well, Mike Dam has... He is in the lead now. He has smoothly gained the lead back from Iannucci.
Will he be able to hold on to it for the rest of the race, though? Because Iannucci has definitely proven his worth out here today. Fastest in practice, fastest in qualifying, has led every single lap up until this moment. And if you get to get it back.
Yeah, and he's going to try and get it back here as he pulls out of the slipstream, but decides not to as we're about to enter the Forza chicane. Not a lot of difference on the straight there, so I wonder if Iannucci could either be saving a little bit of fuel. Maybe he's got a bit of aero damage. I don't know. It doesn't look like there's any damage on that car. Could be that they're set up differently, though. It's not a fixed setup series, of course, Adam. We've got to remember that.
Moving to the inside here, going into the Michelin chicane. And he's going for it.
Now there's a big difference. That's 6 to 7 kilometers an hour. Of course, bear in mind that the wind may play a big role in this here as well, because you've got to remember, if you're going into the, it's the headwind where you'll get the most slipstream, and it's a 24 mile an hour gusty wind that's blowing around the Circuit de la Sarthe this evening.
Here Mike Dam can use it to his advantage now. They're both doing pretty much the same speed down this final part of the Mulsanne Straight, and Mike Dam getting out of the throttle just a little bit there, going into Mulsanne corner.
Of course, the tailwind isn't really going to, it's not going to help the pursuing car, but as soon as they get, and it's this section here where we've seen the biggest differences in the pace. And I think this is where the wind's definitely coming into play now, Adam. You can see it. A much greater slipstream effect than what they've been used to.
Dam
But
being
still,
pretty cautious.
yeah,
getting out of the gas just a little bit, biding his time possibly, or maybe he just doesn't want to crash into him.
In fairness, it's probably the best situation for both these drivers down this straight, and Dam completely lifting off the throttle. He's got to be saving fuel.
Could be, yeah.
I wonder if at least one or maybe more of these drivers as slightly underfilled. To just see if they can get that advantage in the pit stop, because what we've seen is of course that with these slower cars, they don't have the fast fuel rigs like in Formula 1. They don't even have those big fast-ish fuel cans that they have in NASCAR. It's slightly different, isn't it? So the more fuel you put in, it's really disproportionate to the amount of time you can save on the track by just putting it slightly less in. Dam's pit stop then was 2 seconds quicker, so that does indicate, of course, as Captain Obvious here, I'm going to state that there's probably less fuel gone into that car.
Of course, pit stop, you can gain time by hitting your marks better, but yeah, just as you're saying, 2 second pit stop time difference. I'm sure that might be a bit of fuel involved, and Mike Dam, he might just be happy sitting in second place for now, using the slipstream to save a bit of fuel.
I think you are right on the money with that one, Adam. I think Mike Dam will be very happy to be there at this moment.
Unfortunately, the slipstream isn't so beneficial for him that he can do a NASCAR on it and switch the engine off down the straight. But it'll be
People
good
do
enough
that.
for him here.
People actually do that.
During caution, they do. They don't do it during the actual
Oh right,
race.
I was gonna say I thought that would be very thought that would be quite amazing if that's an actual thing that they can do. Let's have a look. Let's check in with the Mazda MX-5s then, because we haven't done for quite some time. David Payton has taken the lead back on this lap and gained a massive amount of time, Adam.
Yeah, but quite a bit actually.
In fact, they must have been in the pits. They must have just come into the pits and we missed it because we were looking at the lead battle for the GS Pro category.
Yeah, because Scott Kennedy's now being shown in second. However, he's just now made his trip into the pits for his second pit stop. So that should be Iannucci into second place now. Payton back in the lead.
Yeah, Kennedy, who was... He got 7 seconds. Wow. Okay. In the pit lane, did David Payton. Sorry, Iannucci. Yeah, sorry. As Scott Kennedy, who was facing the wrong way on the first lap, Adam has done pretty well here in this race after that.
Tell you what, he might actually emerge just behind Tyler McFarlane and Rob Hartley and
Sixth position
after that. Yeah, so that's 6th position, I think, for Scott Kennedy as he emerges from the pit lane. Is he going to be ahead of Geordie Fike? I think he will. Shame for Geordie Fike, really. He was up in about 4th place at one point. Dropped down the order a little bit during the pit stops.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened to him. Whether he had bad stops before or whether he just lost some time out there on the circuit. But yeah, not the best second half of the race for Geordie Fike, but still doing quite decently out there. Sean Cole is... I thought he was going to be into the pits then, actually, but did waver towards pit lane. But the Sim Pit man on his way. And he's the last car who's 1 lap down at the minute. 24th place. He was up in the top 5, Adam, in the first sort of half an hour of the race, but not exactly sure what's happened to Sean Cole in the rest of it.
Well, he had that moment where he disappears, and then we found him buried in the wall. And ever since then, he might be nursing a bit of damage, or
it could just well be the fact that it took a long time to repair. Of course, we're so used to these leagues that have fast repairs and everything, really, that I suppose you'll take into account and just take time to repair these cars in this Ricmotech Sportscar Series. Now you can see the top 4 in the GS category, the Mustang category, in the same shot. Pasquale Iannucci, Mike Dam, Stephen Thomas, Clint Vigus. You can see Thomas and Vigus are lurking in the background.
It's starting to become pretty obvious that Mike Dam doesn't want to get past Pasquale Iannucci. Well, at least not yet, anyway. Continuing to lift off.
Well, he didn't have to save too much fuel if it was only 2 seconds of fuel.
Vigus is doing the same as well, actually, down the straight into Indianapolis and Arnage. I don't know whether they had similar pit stop times. Alex might tell us in our ear, but
can't change any settings with the engine in this car, can you? So,
there you go. So Vigus doing similar pit stop time to Mike Dam, the two guys at the top of the championship, rolling the dice in terms of strategy, possibly here in the later stages of the race. We've got just under a quarter of an hour to go.
Yeah, it's been an excellent race here in the Ricmotech Sportscar Series. Been very, very well driven so far. I hope it continues for the last quarter of an hour.
Oh, well, Stephen Thomas, he was even quicker in the pit stops than Vigus and Dam.
Well, he did pit a lap later, didn't he? So
there you go.
He'd be having to put less in.
That'll be 8.5 miles less worth than blah blah blah. That'll be 8.5.
That's about right.
Yeah, you know what I mean. That'll be 8.5 miles less worth of fuel that he's got to put in the car.
Yes, indeed. That's spot on. Kevin Ford, Russell Ruddock, Matthew Catila continue to spar out there, shall we say?
Oh yeah, this 3-car train, as always, still the same after the pit stops, it looks like, except this time it's Ford leading the way around in this train.
They are sparring, but the proper fisticuffs haven't commenced yet. They might soon, though, because Ford's gone a bit wide at the exit of the Porsche curves, and I wonder if Must have been flirting with a slowdown there. They're going to have a bit of a showdown now. Through the Ford chicane, appropriately named. Ford in a Ford Mustang going through the Ford chicane.
Could be flirting with disaster. I think that's the song at this rate.
Possibly, yeah. Matthew Catila's messed up the last sector a bit, so
yeah,
he's dropped off by a second there.
Should be okay because the Mulsanne Straight's coming up in about 2 miles, so he'll be he should be back with these guys, I think, if he picks up a good tow.
Yeah, I think you're right. Again, they've been finding it difficult down the Mulsanne, haven't they, really, the Mustangs? It's been around the back of the circuit where they've really been picking up their overtaking moves. So, Scott Kennedy is... Yeah, I think you were spot on with where Scott Kennedy is sat. He's sat in 5th place. His stops. So David Payton leads by about 5 or 6 seconds at least, isn't it? From Giuseppe Iannucci. It might be slightly more than that. As
Hartley's close to Schwenke though. That's the battle for 3rd in class.
How often do we see Hartley coming on strong in the second half of the race as well?
Quite rare, isn't it?
He's like the Clint Vigas of the Mazda category, because he really does use the second half of the race to his advantage. He never qualifies particularly well. I mean, he didn't qualify at all here, so I wonder if there was any penalties to be served or anything for him. But
Iannucci's getting reeled in here, and he's really struggling because you can see David Payton's way up the road now. He hasn't got any help, and Schwenke and Hartley are working together in the slipstream, and Giuseppe Iannucci, he's going to get drawn into this battle for 3rd place. It's now a battle for 2nd, really, now.
Be a blessing in disguise for Iannucci, though, because he does need that little bit of assistance. You know, it's possible in the time left that they could still get somewhere near David Payton. I don't think they're going to be able to usurp him necessarily, but I reckon they could make him think onto the last lap, possibly.
Yeah, that's it really, because it's a 50-minute. We've got 50 minutes left, and it's a 5-minute lap in these MX-5. So we've got about 3 or 2 to 3 laps left of the race.
Yeah, could even be 4 laps left.
Well, here they come then. Hartley getting a nice tow. Tandem drafting here between Hartley and Schwenke.
Of course, it was Hartley and Iannucci who had that last lap battle at Monza, in which Rob Hartley ended up in the fence. He'll be looking to make amends for that here.
Oh,
Frankie all over the curbs.
Yeah, they weren't taking the best line through the Michelin chicane there, were they?
No, I wonder if
Hartley now giving Hartley the master of the push. He's now giving Iannucci the bump down the Mulsanne straight. This is going to push him back to the lead. Guardian Angel, it looks like, Rob Hartley, because then he gets out of it and allows them to carry on.
Nicely shoved there. Yeah, but he knows he's going to push him far enough, and then obviously get out of the battle a little bit, which is quite a clever tactic, really, when you think about it. Unless he needs to save a little bit of fuel as well, which is it is quite possible.
To update you on the Mustangs again, Mike Ham is still behind Pasquale Iannucci. And the same said for Stephen Thomas and Clint Vigas. So still mate, a truce, if you will, between those guys in the top 4. Just coming up to 9:45 on the East Coast, 9:45 here in the UK.
Indeed, we're well into Tuesday morning now. And Travis Schwenke and Giuseppe Iannucci well into this battle. Pasquale Iannucci still leads Mike Dan by 0.3 of a second at the front of the Mustangs as well, but it's really this battle, I think, that's going to give us the most mileage. Between Schwenke, Iannucci, Hartley.
Now that David Payton's on his own, could these 3 work together and pull in David Payton into this squabble? I think they might just have enough time here.
Robert Hartley was 3 seconds quicker than David Payton on the last lap. I reckon it's very possible.
if he continues to push both of them down the Mulsanne straight, it is very conceivable that David Payton could get drawn into this, and then we'll have a 4-car battle for the race lead in the Mazda MX-5.
Exactly, and you've got to bear in mind as well that it's a small effect, but you will get a bit of aero push from behind going down a straight like that as well. So you'll only be minded they can see David Payton up there at the top of their the very, very far distance for them. They won't be looking at him, I don't think. They'll be looking at the Ford chicane and how to best negotiate that. Then the final chicane, which I forget the name. I don't know if it has a name, that one, but it's a very fun complex, actually. You think chicanes are usually quite boring, Adam, but they're very, when you link them together like that, very, very entertaining.
Definitely.
And I'll tell you what, in a prototype as well, that's a downright scary corner is the Ford chicane.
Yeah, you want to be careful with the curbs in the prototype because they can be pretty harsh to you. I'm just trying to look myself to see if they've got a name.
I've got
called the Virage du Raccordement.
There you go.
That's my best French accent right
no,
there.
yeah, that's fine. I don't know what it means, but yeah, that's what it's called.
Corner of I'll have a look for you. Raccordement.
Find that out. As a
connection.
Connection.
That's what it's called.
So the connecting chicane.
The corner of connection. Yeah.
Well, I suppose it is the corner that connects the Bugatti circuit onto the main straight. So we're going to go 3 wide here for the second place. Hartley on the inside. He makes his move now. With just about 5 minutes left.
I think this is what David Payton wants.
I don't know if any of it's what David Payton wants, because he's getting closer and closer and closer to this battle. Last lap was another 3 seconds quicker.
3 wide, though, it would halt their progress somewhat, but Rob Hartley looks like he's not sitting around. He's like, come on, guys, let's get after him.
Won't be 3 wide for long. They can see him. They can smell this win. We could have another fantastic finish on our hands. Dam is still content to just sit behind Pasquale Iannucci.
And it's still the 3 Mustangs together between Catila, Ford and Ruddock. So we've got battles pretty much everywhere you look in this field. Great to see with less than 10 minutes to go, about 5 minutes to go, yeah.
What an excellent race and another fantastic event that this series has put on. It's really been one of my favourite series of the season.
Great way to spend the middle of the night.
The time's a bit dodgy, I have to say, boys, but yeah, the racing more than makes up for that. Fantastic.
Here comes Schwenke on Iannucci, and
Hartley's got a nice overspeed here.
Hartley, he's gonna get out of it actually, Rob Hartley.
Maybe not a bad shout actually. This fast right-hander. Pink into Mulsanne corner.
Anthony Davidson had his huge shunt in his Toyota.
Slightly wide for Iannucci through there. David Payton again, he is getting a bit closer. You can sniff it now, they can see it. Can taste the victory.
Once again, they were lapping 3 seconds quicker than David Payton. Iannucci getting the shove. More shoving. Lots of shoving action going on here. All of this will help them close in. Just try and count the gap in my head. About 3 seconds. Tell you what, they're going to be right with him by the end of the race. Don't know if they'll be able to get anything done.
David Payton's driving pretty well.
As well as he can without any slipstream.
It's going to be similar to the race that we saw in the Formula Renault, isn't it, on Tuesday with John McCutchinson trying to evade capture, shall we say, and you do not want to make that mistake. It wasn't him that made that mistake, was it? In the end, McCutchinson the other night. It was his pursuers that made the mistake. So we'll see. Is that going to be the case here?
Well,
or is the chasing pack, the hunt, They're going to be too strong.
I think we've got enough time for 2 more laps. Pasquale Iannucci's just heading into the Forza chicane now. Going to be close, but I think, yeah, these MX-5s could have 2 more laps, I think.
Are we going to see something from Mike Dam? It's going to be soon if he's going to do it. It's going to be in the next lap, you would think. I hope he doesn't wait till the last lap, because I think you might just be risking it too much, because what happens if you get traffic? What happens if you make a mistake? You've got no time to recover. And also, Pasquale Iannucci has driven yet another fantastic race from pole position. He was fastest in practice. He was on pole position. He led pretty much the first hour exclusively.
Producer Alex, how long have we got left on the clock? 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Oh, it's going to be close.
It's going to be close, yeah, if we get another lap in.
It's going to be very, very close. So we may have to be ready, Adam, for this white flag at the end.
Damn, getting on the brakes there. That's how much he doesn't want to get by. Brake lights glowing.
Yeah, but he's going to have to make the move soon, because, again, that's another reason. He doesn't want to risk there not being another lap. Because what happens if he's got his sums wrong and there's not going to be another lap? What happens if they get held up or have an accident and they don't make it in time?
What happens if he gets his sums wrong and there is another lap? Maybe he's fueled it just for this last lap here.
That's the other way you could get your sums badly wrong as well, yeah. And I'm starting to get the feeling that David Payton might have just got this right. He might have just got this spot on. Still about 3 seconds in front. Might be more. It might be about 4 seconds. Rob Hartley now the head of the chasing pack. This is a brilliant race. It's all come together at the right time. Yet another great meeting here in the Ricmotech Sportscar Series.
Time update, Alex. I know I can't look at it. I think they might just get 1 more lap in. Andrew, 1 minute 20 just before the Porsche curves.
Could well be. I think you're right. We'll to try and get a confirmation of that. I don't think it takes 1 minute and 20 to get through it. No, it's going to be tight. No, they've got a minute.
Yeah, they got a minute.
They'll be all right, I think. So,
let's start the final lap of the race then.
Yeah, it should be. We'll just make sure of that. Come across, exiting the Porsche car. Oh, Iannucci's had to hit the brakes. What happened? Did he nearly lose the car, or was it a slowdown? It's a slowdown, I think.
Yeah, it is a slowdown. You do get a slowdown if you run out wide through that Porsche curves.
This could be the opportunity that Mike Dam needs.
I don't think he wanted actually to take the lead. He was trying to get Iannucci back by again.
Well, I mean, he's going to have to. What's the clock saying? Oh, Dam makes a mistake. How many? 20 seconds. So they have crossed. And there will be another 13.6 kilometers to go.
All right, 8.5 miles for these guys to contest here. What's going down in the Mazdas? Payton.
Clint.
Well,
Clint Vigas was 4 seconds quicker than them on that lap. The fuel must be a major issue for these two.
Well, Vigas has pretty much said see yes to Stephen Thomas, and
only 1 second though. Only 1 second. But yeah, that 4 seconds, it's got to be fuel. Has to be fuel.
I think it might be the same for Iannucci actually, because Mike Dam's just taken off. Pasquale Iannucci looks like, Mike, if you want to play that game, fine by me. I want to get to the end of the race.
Are they going to get to the end? This is the thing. Going to have to see. This is going to be the thing. This is always the thing at Le Mans, though, isn't it? Well, do they have enough fuel?
Just looking at their stints, it was a 7-lap stint for Mike Dam, then to get to his first stop, then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lap stint to his second stop, and he's now on his first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. This is his 7th lap of his final stint now, so pushing it.
Nobody's come in for a splash and dash, so got to assume everybody else is okay for the fuel.
Slow down penalty there. For
David Payton. And Svenke's through, and
he's into
Hartley
the pits.
Payton's in the pits. Is that the fuel gone? Is it the resources depleted? Is it the dream of winning the race over?
The fuel warning light will surely be on.
One more lap to go then for these guys at the front.
Well, now this changes everything. To coin a phrase, Iannucci and Dam, they're now back together again.
Where's Vigas? Look at it. Look at Vigas. That's not 6 seconds anymore.
So obviously Mike Dam's done his own bit of slowing down the Mulsanne straight. He had quite a bit in hand actually going onto the Mulsanne straight. Could Clint Vigas sneak behind and get this win?
He might not have to sneak.
Just take it with both hands.
He might just take it. Might just walk in and say, I'm having this. Because, let's face it, when it comes to fuel, as we saw in the Daytona 500 last week, there is no middle ground. You either have enough or you don't. And you cannot take risks. If you're going to run out, you need to make sure that you finish the race. That's more important than winning the race. In a stupid way, if that makes sense.
Well, here comes Iannucci for the lead.
Iannucci then, once more to the head of the field. They're Indianapolis.
Vigas is here.
Vigas is right with them, and that means that also Stephen Thomas is not that far behind either. Here comes Mike Dam again. As Vigas, he senses it. He can taste the victory. The champagne. It's already been sprayed almost in his mind. Podium is on for him, but will it be more? Started second, he dropped down the order. And, well, again, we've said he comes on strongly in the second half of races, and this is another example of why could well be the best driver in this series, and that's why he's in the championship. Do the Porsche curves then, Adam, for the final time.
Everyone looking in check at the moment. Vigas might go for second place here. Of course, Mike Dam is his championship rival, and Iannucci as well. The top three in the championship in reverse order here.
The one advantage that the guys at the front have got, Iannucci and Dam, is that it's very difficult to overtake in this final sector. It's almost impossible through the Ford chicane, but let's see then. Pasquale Iannucci. Is there going to be any last gasp efforts from Dam or from Vigas? It's Vigas slowed down. Vigas has made a mistake. And over the line. Going to be Iannucci, surely. Pasquale Iannucci wins at Le Mans. Mike Dam at second place. What a battle. What a titanic squabble. Clint Vigas and then Stephen Thomas. Now we wait to see who's going to win the Mazda MX-5.
Wow, here we go then. 3 cars all going for the win then.
Here we go.
Take it away, boys.
We're used to close finishes in this car.
3 wide.
There could be nothing closer than 3 wide, nothing more perilous than 3 wide. And so they head into the final half of the lap, of the final lap. Frankie, Hartley, Iannucci. How many times this season, Adam, have we said these names on the final lap with such close proximity?
Well, don't count any of these guys out yet. Iannucci done a great job through the race. Of course, David Payton was leading before he had to come into the pits because he didn't have enough fuel to make it.
Hartley thought about having a go. Oh!
Very close. Very close.
Was that in the wall for Svenke? Don't think it was, but man, if iRacing modelled these things, he would have the mirror knocked off, no doubt. Here we go then. Hartley. Rob Hartley, he was completely out of it, wasn't he? In the first half of the race. It's going up the inside. Oh, and Iannucci fighting back. It's very, very close. Final lap of the race. We've had an hour and a half here. Who's going to take the victory in the Ricmotech Sportscar Series? Oh, only a couple of corners to go, Adam. It's going to be very close. There might even be a move into the Virage de Recordment, or whatever it's called.
Oh, sliding Travis Schwenke through the final part of the Porsche curves. Very close to a slowdown penalty there, but we'll see what happens. Side by side we go. Has Schwenke got enough?
Schwenke has to go defensive into the false chicane. He has the inside. Can he carry the speed through and into the final chicane? Let's see. There's not going to be a challenge there, but he's got to nail the exit. He's still got to get the exit right. Hartley loses it. And he gets hit by Iannucci. And for the second race in 3, Robert Hartley makes a mistake on the final lap. Travis Schwenke wins here at Le Mans. Magnifique, Adam.
Say, well, we. Trivian.
Trivian. Unbelievable. Fantastic. And there aren't many, you know, we describe these races for everybody. You know, we do so many broadcasts these days, and you know what, that just reminds us why we do what we do, and what a fantastic finish on both for both classes to be so close as well.
Brilliant race, wasn't it? 90 minutes around Le Mans.
And I tell you what, we are joined by the second place man. Giuseppe Iannucci's wasted no time hot-footing it into the commentary box. Welcome, my friend. What a fantastic race that was.
Hey, sorry, I just put the headset on. You were asking me that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, what a crazy race. It was 2 cars working together at this track is worth like 2 or 3 seconds.
And that's what happened in the end. You reeled in David Ditton, and then he had to pit, I assume, for fuel. I assume he wasn't banking on that extra lap. And yeah, the finish was a bit busy as well. Hartley loses it, and then you sort of have to sort of buffet him out of the way in order to get to the line.
Truthfully, I was trying as hard as I can not to hit him. That was my only incidents for the race. I would have took a 3rd place, but no incidents.
Oh. There's no incidents I mean, that's a good effort then for an hour and 30 minutes. But yeah, I suppose you'd rather give him a bit of a punt and actually make it to the line than not. But this season, you've been involved in some of the best finishes I think I've ever seen. I don't think I've ever seen one driver before yourself just absolutely owning these close finishes.
It's kind of the nature of the series. Every single race since I've joined it, it's always that close. And what's good is you could always trust these guys because they're all super clean and really just respectful guys. So it's a great series. I can't say enough about the drivers in it.
Adam, have you got anything for Giuseppe there?
Well, yeah, at the end of the race, were you too concerned about the fuel like David Payton was, or were you quite confident that you were going to get around that final lap?
I took too much fuel at my stop. I was too conservative, so I knew I had way more than enough to finish.
Just looking to see where we're heading to next week in the Ricmotech Sportscar Series. We're off to Circuit of the Americas, a track that you like.
No, I'm not a fan of it. It's like a $300 million painted parking lot to me.
There we go. Well, before we let you go then, Giuseppe Iannucci, do you want to send a quick shout out to anyone?
Yeah, just thanks for the guys putting this league together. It's a nice way to start a week on a Monday. Thank the sponsors, Ricmotech and TD, for letting everything come together and happen. And thank you guys for putting this race on tonight. It's always nice to have a good broadcast team.
Brilliant. Well, well done on the second place. We thoroughly enjoyed, and sounds like you did as well. And yeah, good. Best of luck in 2 weeks' time, I should say, because we're on a week off next week. 2 weeks' time at Circuit of the Americas.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night, and congrats to my brother for having a great finish tonight. He was on fire at this track.
Brilliant. race for you both there. So well done to Giuseppe. Yeah, we'll see you next week.
Good night.
Right then, I guess we have to go with Pasquale Iannucci if he is indeed here. I'm just.
Yeah, I'm in here.
There we go. Mate, that was. Your brother's been having these very, very close finishes all the way through the season, and now you come over and get one of your own.
Yeah, I mean, this season's been tough. I've had the outright speed. I just haven't had the race pace. Mike and Clint have been fast in qualifying, but when the race comes around, they come alive. And finally, it's nice it's rewarding to put together a complete race, start to finish.
Pasquale is Adam.
Oh well, there's a bit of sound issue there. I think.
Yeah, I think I might have just muted myself.
I think it's going to be. Yeah, it's Pasquale. There's a little bit of interference on. We can hear your sound coming through. So if you could just turn that down in the background for us, that'd be great. Sorry, Adam.
I was just about to ask Pasquale about the fuel issues he might have had with Mike Dam in the closing stages of the race. Don't know. He's around to answer that or not. I think he's muted him.
Yeah. All right. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Yeah. No, it was. We were expecting about 19 laps, and when we came around to lap 18 and we didn't get the white flag, good thing that me and Mike had a pretty good gap that we were able to really slow down that second to last lap so that we could finish. But it was a lot tighter than we were expecting.
Yeah, you lost about 4 seconds on that second to last lap, but it was enough, and we were saying on commentary, it's quite difficult to overtake in that final sector, and that definitely helped you out.
Yeah, I knew that I had to get him on the straight that I got him on because it was the only one with a headwind. So it was the one that the draft really was the most noticeable. So fortunately, I was able to get him there. Otherwise, it would have been tough.
Oh well, I think we got that one right then on the commentary, because we were saying that down the Mulsanne, it was looking like the speed differential wasn't really there, but then in the it was on the road to Indianapolis that it seemed like the overspeed was quite substantial, and a lot of moves were going in there, and it made for exciting racing because there was some good passing moves down there, and from your whole category really.
Yeah, it was the first 2 straights we had a tailwind, but going into Indianapolis is the only place it was a headwind. But it was a fun race. It was a good race. I had a fun time with Mike. We're both pretty much the same speed, but it was tough to get away because of the draft.
And if you obviously took the win today, fastest in practice, pole position, winning the race, you must be really pleased with that. But is there anybody else you want to say a good big thank you to before you go?
Thanks to Jeff and Kevin, TD, Frank from Ricmotech for help putting this on. But really, Jeff and Kevin, they put so much into this week after week. And what amazes me is with everything that's going on during the race, they're still able to drive fast. So big thank you to them. My brother helped me out getting up to speed a lot on the sim. So thanks to him. And that's it. I'm looking forward to the next one.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, mate. And we'll see you at the next one. Right then. So let's bring in the man who was second overall tonight, which is Mike Dam. Mike, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Right, so that was eventful, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a really a tight finish to the race. It was a super fun one there.
What was the thought process? Because obviously they did lose a place on the start, but or were in danger of losing a place, but then you managed to just get into the rhythm, And it was a close battle all the way through. I mean, you were quite happy to sit behind for a while, I guess, to save the fuel.
Yeah, you know what? There's no point in making a move. As long as you can keep up with first place, you're good till the end. So, no point making a move, slowing both of us down. And anyways, Pat was faster, anyways. Yeah.
Especially considering that is what Pasquale was talking about, was the headwind down the straight towards Indianapolis, where really that meant that restricted the overtaking opportunities somewhat, didn't it?
Yeah, unless you got a really good run out of the first two stretches, you weren't making a move there. So it was only down to Indianapolis there that you had a chance every lap. So that was where it was going to happen. But
and that's
no.
risky, isn't it? That's a risky place to overtake. It's not an easy section.
Yeah, it is. You get beside them close to the end, and then you might be going too wide into the S's there. So, but Pat deserved this one. He was really fast. After the first pit stop, he got away, and I just I didn't have the same pace without the draft there. So
you come into the pits, you take a little bit less fuel. I guess you weren't very pleased about that final lap, were you? About the fact that there was an extra lap to do.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I took full fuel on the last pit, but we did pit a lap earlier than we could, so we cut a lap off of our total strategy there, and but I double stinted my tires on the end. That's where I got the couple seconds there, and I was lucky enough that I got his draft after the second pit.
The tires hanging on fairly well then towards the end of the third stint.
Absolutely, yeah. Like that was 60 minutes on that one set of tires, and it was actually the fastest was at the end. So, yeah.
So how much did you have left at the end?
Half a gallon, half a
gallon,
half a lap.
So that's yeah, I was judged quite well in the end. Then obviously, the thing is, it was a fast pace, wasn't it? And the fact that you weren't getting interrupted really by any traffic or anything like that was probably the key to actually getting that extra lap in, because you only made that extra lap by about 15-20 seconds.
Yeah, I know. It was really close. Yeah, the traffic didn't hold us up at all, and this was the most fuel consuming track on the schedule. We could only make about 31 minutes on the tank, so that's cutting it close in a 90-minute race.
Especially considering you've got, third of a pace lap and everything as well going on. So, but yeah, well done anyway, mate. Second place. I think you're pretty happy with that in the end?
Yeah, it's a good finish here. I mean, there are a lot of fast guys here that just got an unfortunate break, like Clinton and Russ and Stephen Thomas. They were all really fast. They could have been up there. I mean, they were at the end, but it was just a matter of who got lucky.
And the dice fell for you well tonight, mate. Is there anybody else that you'd like to say a big thank you to, or a shout out before you go?
Yeah, like the other guys said, just all the guys in this group. It's great that the admins do a great job putting this on, and all our sponsors really do a good job helping us out. So thank you guys for doing a great broadcast, and we'll see you next week.
Excellent, Mike. Well, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay. Right then, next victim. The race winner, the Mazda MX-5, Travis Svenke. Travis, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Right then, what is it with you lot and these finishes? I was speaking to Giuseppe and asking him the same thing, and this car really does provide some brilliant racing. It's some of the best we've ever seen.
Yeah, it's just a great car to run with. I mean, the draft is a little big at this track, but still, it actually kind of helped us this time since we got spread out. We all made mistakes, but I mean, really, I mean, you look at everyone, that's really what the difference was tonight, was who made mistakes and who didn't, and I got lucky and recovered from mine.
I don't know whether you agree with the analogy or not, but me and Adam were talking about the fact that, especially that last part, was very much like road cycling, because you had the three of you in that group, and you were catching David by 2-3 seconds a lap, just purely because you were all helping each other out like a peloton.
Yeah, it sure was. That's exactly what it was. I mean, he was the yellow jacket guy running up there in front, and we just were hunting him down. I didn't know he was going to run out
He
of
was
fuel. I
yellow
thought,
as well, wasn't he?
yeah,
But
yeah.
that's the thing. Did he run out of fuel then in the end? Do we know?
Yeah, I believe he did. I heard on the radio that he was out. So
But I mean, obviously, then the focus shifts when David Payton's moved out of the way. The focus shifts to that little group, and not the first time this season that you guys have told between the three of you. And what's the thought process going into those last couple of laps?
it's each of us is trying to calculate where we want to be in front, where we want to be behind, and I got lucky. He was behind the right spot. I got a great run out of the corner, and I didn't want to go that early, but I figured I had to. And Rob almost got the pass back. You can get two cars in there. These cars run side by side through there, but I guess he was just a little bit too far back. I heard my spotter say he was there, so I was definitely going to give him room. But yeah, it's really tough through there. I had no idea where to go with both of those guys behind me. I didn't know who to block and who to let through.
A quick one, Adam. Have we got you back?
Yeah. Sorry, internet keeps dropping in and out.
He's back. No, we were just saying that it was going to be about kind of who blinked first, Adam, wasn't it? And Travis was the one who got the move done at the right time.
Yeah, it was. And what was your mindset going into that final lap? Were you thinking of trying to make the move at the last possible moment, or were you just trying to get it as quickly as you could?
I wanted to make it before the S's, but I wanted to try to make it late before the S's, not as early as I did. But it still worked out because you can get the redraft there. It's short, especially on the last lap. Early in the race, we're all going to line back up, but late, I don't suspect someone wouldn't want to go side by side through there. It's if they get the run, we'll do it. We'll go side by side. But yeah, I wanted to do it late, but I just had the run, so I had to take it.
I think sometimes that's the only chance. It could be your only chance, and so you've got to go for it.
Yep, exactly.
Right, Travis, anything you'd like to say to the sponsors or to the team or to the league admins?
Oh, the same as everyone. Great league, great people in this league. Everyone learns from each other, and we race the next week, all friends again. So it's a great series, and thanks you guys for supporting us.
Well, it's a great league to be a part of, and yeah, we love watching your race, and we enjoy looking forward to seeing you next week.
Sounds great. Thanks, guys.
Travis Schrenke, their winner in the MX5 category, and I believe that Adam Bath is standing by with Robert Hartley.
Rob Hartley, well, welcome to the commentary box. I was just looking to see where you finished. You had a very good late end to the race. You seem to be acting the role as a chief pusher, especially down the Mulsanne Straight during the closing stages of the race.
He was. He might have fallen asleep. We said that. We'll try and get back to Rob in a bit. Got Clint Vigas here, though. Clint, can you hear me?
Yeah, I just woke up.
It's not just here where it's late now. Clint, well done again, mate. The second half of the race was again the part where you were the strongest. I bet you didn't think when you got those two slowdowns within a lap that you would be anywhere near the front at the end.
Yeah, these guys keep talking about headwinds, but my biggest headwinds were myself tonight, I think.
Well, cutting across the chicane, I mean, it is a hazard here. And it lost you a good 15 seconds. So how did you go about altering the mindset to try and get that back?
Just trying to settle down, and I was a little harder on fuel than the rest of the guys were, so I had to do some drafting, or I wasn't going to make it. I don't know how Pat ran out front for all three stints and didn't have a problem with fuel. I crossed the line with 0.1 left, so just take it easy. Try to pick nice, clean passes, and try to eliminate those off tracks or the cuts. Gain some ground.
Mike mentioned the tyres. What did you do in terms of your tyres? Did you keep them on for a double stint again, like he did, or was it tyres every time for you in the pits?
No, I was tougher on tires and fuel, so my fronts got a little tired towards the end, especially going through Indianapolis and the Porsche curves. So I changed all four every time, but both of my stops I got into the box not very clean, so lost a lot of time in the pits tonight.
Well, I'll tell you what then, since if you have been dozing off slightly, I'll let you get on with the evening. But is there anybody else who you'd like to give a shout out to before we leave? And that'll be the end of it.
Yeah, I miss racing with TD, man. I can't wait till he's back with us and feeling a little better. And yeah, it was nice having Sean Cole from the Sim Pit tonight with us as well. But look forward to seeing you guys at COTA next weekend.
All right. Well, yeah, have a good week, and we'll see you next time.
Cheers.
Of course, we should mention that it still will be week 13, a week today, sort of a week today in America. So yeah, we'll be on a 2-week break. So the next race meeting will be on the 20th of March, the 21st here in the UK.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll go through the race results now. I've got them up on screen. Pasquale Iannucci takes the win and 3/10 of a second ahead of Mike Am. Clint Vargas, the championship leader going into this race meeting, finishing in 3rd. Stephen Thomas finishing in 4th. Russell Ruddock 5th. 6th Kevin Ford. 7th Matthew Katila. 8th Jeff Jacobs. 9th Michael Burgett. And 10th Ryan Tibbetts. 11th for Brandon Whitworth. 12th for Robert Brist. And then into the Mazda MX-5s. Race winner Travis Schwenke. Then Giuseppe Iannucci in 2nd. Rob Hartley 3rd. Then the Mustang of Tyler Schifflett. And then 4th in the MX-5s is Tyler McFarlane. 5th, David Payton, after making that late fuel stop, gutting for him. Scott Kennedy 6th. 7th, Geordie Fike. 8th, John Allen, the winner at Barber last week. Sean Cole, Simpit Man, finishing in 9th. Mike Taylor 10th. 11th, Michael Key. 12th, Dan Carrido. 13th, Edgar Sancinelli. 14th for Chris Torment. And then Leon Wright, 13 laps down out of the race in his Mustang. Scott Brooks, the same for him as well. Tory Tesla blew an engine, 14 laps down he was. Aaron Grotzkoff in his MX-5, 18 laps down for him. And then Raymond Bader Jr., 19 laps down in his Mustang. And Logan Mitchell, he didn't take the start of the race.
Right then. Well, thanks very much, Adam, for going through those results. And yeah, thank you everybody for watching tonight, which has been a fantastic meeting in the Ricmotech Sportscar Series. We love bringing it to you, and we hope you love watching it too. So from all of us here on Apex Racing TV, from myself, Andrew Woodhouse, from Adam Bath, and from Alex Marshall, it's goodbye from Apex Racing TV, and it's goodbye from the ExtremeMotorsports.com Ricmotech Sportscar Series. We'll see you next time.
Extreme Motorsports brings you the Ricmotech Sportscar Series, brought to you by Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment, and in part by TD's Tree Service. Live coverage coming your way right now.